The first photo arrived at 3 a.m. My phone vibrated on the nightstand, dragging me out of a shallow sleep. I reached for it, half convinced it was a work crisis. Instead, a message from an unknown number filled the screen. It was a photo of my wife Sarah in bed. She wasn't alone. The caption read, "She screams louder with me." I bolted upright, pulse hammering in my ears. Sarah was supposed to be asleep beside me, or so I believed. I turned my head. Her side of the bed was empty. Another image appeared, more graphic. Same caption, "She screams louder with me." Then another, and another. 5 photos total, each one showing my wife with another man, each one stamped with the same mocking words. The final message read, "She's with me right now. She'll be home in an hour. Sweet dreams, champ." I stared at the screen, hands trembling with rage and disbelief. My wife was cheating, and the man she was with was sending proof at 3 a.m. while she was still in his bed. I climbed out of bed and went downstairs. I forwarded every photo to my email, uploaded them to cloud storage, copied them onto a drive. Evidence. I would need evidence. Then I sat in the dark living room and waited. At 4:15 a.m., headlights swept across the windows. The car door shut softly. The front door opened with careful hands. Sarah stepped inside on quiet feet, trying not to make a sound. I switched on the lamp. She flinched, clutching her chest. "Jesus, Nathan, you scared me." "Where were you?" "I couldn't sleep. I went for a drive." "A drive? At 3 a.m.? "Yeah, sometimes I do that when I can't rest. You know that." "Show me your phone." "What? Why?" "Show me your phone, Sarah." "Nathan, what's going on?" I raised my phone, displaying the images. "I got these tonight from your lover while you were with him." The color drained from her face. "I can explain." "Explain what? That you've been cheating on me? That your lover sent explicit photos of you two together with captions saying she screams louder with me?" "Nathan, please." "How long?" "What? How long have you been with him?" Tears filled her eyes. 6 months. 6 months. Half a year. Who is he? His name is Kyle Brennan. Kyle Brennan. And where did you meet Kyle Brennan? At the gym. Of course, the gym. I stood up. "Get out." "What?" "Get out of my house, now." "Nathan, we need to talk." "There's nothing to talk about. You cheated for 6 months. Your lover sent me photos at 3 a.m. The marriage is over." "What about the house, my belongings?" "They're packed in the garage. You can collect them anytime." "The house is mine. You can't force me out." "I already did. And, Sarah, I reported Kyle to the police." "What? Why would you do that?" "He sent explicit images of you without your consent. That's illegal." "You're trying to have him arrested." "I'm holding him accountable. He committed a crime." "Nathan, please don't." "It's done." I ended the call. 2 days later, Kyle Brennan called me. "Is this Nathan Reeves?" "Who's asking?" "Kyle Brennan, Sarah's boyfriend." "Sarah's boyfriend. That's amusing. What do you want?" "Drop the police report." "No." "I didn't mean anything by those photos. I was joking." "You sent explicit images of my wife at 3 a.m. with taunting captions. That's harassment and revenge porn." "I didn't think." "Exactly. You didn't think. You wanted to mock me. Now you'll answer to the law." "Sarah said you're divorcing her." "I am." "She deserves better." "Better than me?" "I'm a successful attorney, faithful, stable. You're a personal trainer sending illegal images in the middle of the night."
"I make her happy." "If that were true, she wouldn't have lied to you about where she lived. Did she tell you we were separated? That divorce was pending?" Silence followed. "She didn't tell you, did she?" "She told you she lived with a friend, that we were finished, but we were sharing a bed. She was lying to both of us." "That's not true." "Ask her. Ask if she slept beside me the night before she slept with you. Ask if she wore her wedding ring when she met you. Ask if she ever told me she wanted a divorce before I found out." "You're lying." "Or is she?" He hung up. 3 days later, police contacted him about the images. Sarah called me hysterical. The police want to question Kyle. Good. You're really doing this? He committed a crime. I gave him consent. Did you consent to him sending them to me? Did you tell him to send your husband explicit photos at 3 a.m. with taunts? No. Then he violated your privacy, and mine. He'll face consequences. I love him. You barely know him. That's not love, that's an affair. I don't care. He broke the law. He'll be charged. I'll never forgive you. I don't need forgiveness. I want a divorce. A week later, Kyle was charged with cyberstalking and distributing intimate images without consent. His lawyer contacted Martin. My client will plead guilty if your client drops a civil claim. What civil claim? The one for emotional distress. Martin looked at me. Planning to file one? I hadn't, but now I was. My client will consider dropping the claim if your client pleads guilty, pays $10,000 and agrees to a restraining order. $10,000 is excessive. Your client sent revenge porn with taunting captions. It's generous. Negotiations followed. They settled at $8,000. Kyle pled guilty, paid the money, received probation and counseling, and was barred from contacting me or Sarah. Sarah was furious. You took money from him. He'll recover. He sent revenge porn. He's fortunate I didn't pursue more. You're vindictive. No, I hold people accountable. The divorce moved quickly. Martin dismantled her claims. Your client committed adultery for 6 months, deceived my client repeatedly, and her lover sent explicit images with taunts. She has no legal or moral position. My client contributed to the marriage. How? She worked part-time earning minimal income. My client earns $250,000 and purchased the house before marriage. He financed everything. She contributed nothing. That's not fair. Fair ended when she chose an affair. Sarah got nothing. No alimony, no assets, no house. She got her personal belongings, her car, and that's it. She moved in with Kyle, who was living in a small apartment across town. I heard through mutual friends that they were fighting constantly. Turns out, when your relationship is built on lies and affairs, it doesn't hold up well under pressure. 2 months after the divorce was finalized, I got a call from Kyle's wife. Kyle's wife, I said. Kyle is married? Was married? The woman said her name was Jennifer. I filed for divorce last month. I found out about Sarah and about the photos you sent. My lawyer contacted yours to get copies for my divorce case. I'm sorry. I didn't know Kyle was married. Neither did Sarah, apparently. Kyle told her he was single. He told me he was working late. He was lying to both of us. That seems to be a pattern with these two. I wanted to thank you for pressing charges, for holding him accountable. If you hadn't, I might never have found out. You're welcome. I'm sorry you had to go through this. Me too, but I'm glad I know the truth now. What are you going to do? Take everything. The house, the savings, custody of our daughter. Kyle is going to be left with nothing. Good. He deserves it. He does, and so does Sarah. 3 months after the divorce, the court date arrived for the final hearing. It was a formality. Everything had been settled in mediation, but both parties had to appear before the judge to finalize everything. Sarah showed up with Kyle. He wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't a party to the divorce, but he came anyway. The judge, a woman in her 60s named Judge Patricia Morrison, was not amused. Mr. Brennan, you are not a party to these proceedings. Why are you here? I'm here to support her, Your Honor. Support her? Mr. Brennan, according to these documents, you are the reason for this divorce. You had an affair with Mrs. Reeves. You sent explicit photos to Mr. Reeves at 3 a.m. with taunting captions. You were charged with cyberstalking and distribution of intimate images without consent. Why would you think it's appropriate to be here? I didn't think clearly. Mr. Brennan, you are to leave this courtroom immediately. If you do not, I will hold you in contempt. Kyle left, his face red. Judge Morrison turned to Sarah. Mrs. Reeves, I've reviewed the evidence in this case, the photos, the messages, the timeline of your affair. I have to say, in my 30 years on the bench, I have rarely seen such blatant disregard for the sanctity of marriage. Your Honor, I made a mistake. A mistake, Mrs. Reeves. You had a 6-month affair. You lied to your husband repeatedly. Your lover sent explicit photos with taunting captions. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern of deceit and cruelty. I know, but I'm not finished. You are asking this court to award you spousal support and a share of marital assets based on what? Your contribution to the marriage? You worked part-time making minimal income. My client paid for everything, and you repaid him by having an affair.
Your Honor, I deserve something. You deserve nothing, and that's exactly what you're getting. This court finds in favor of Mr. Reeves on all counts. No spousal support, no division of assets. Mrs. Reeves, you are to vacate the marital home immediately and remove your belongings within 48 hours. Do you understand? Sarah was crying. Yes, Your Honor. Good. And Mrs. Reeves, a word of advice. The next time you're in a relationship, try being honest. It'll save everyone a lot of time and money. The gavel came down. Sarah left the courtroom sobbing. I left victorious. 6 months after the divorce, I heard that Sarah and Kyle had broken up. Apparently, Kyle's ex-wife had taken everything in their divorce, and he couldn't afford to support Sarah. They'd been fighting about money constantly. Sarah moved back in with her parents. She'd lost her job at the yoga studio. The owner didn't want the scandal. She was working retail, barely making ends meet. Kyle moved to another state to start fresh. I felt nothing. I sold the house, too many bad memories, and bought a condo downtown. I got a promotion at work. I started working out, lost weight, and felt better than I had in years. I also started dating. Her name was Emily, and she was a doctor. We met at a charity event. I'm divorced, I told her on our first date. It ended badly. How badly? My ex-wife had an affair. Her lover sent me explicit photos at 3 a.m. with captions saying she screamed louder with him. Her eyes widened. Oh my God, what did you do? I divorced her, got him charged with revenge porn, took everything in the divorce. That's intense. Too intense? No, he deserved it. What kind of person sends photos like that? An arrogant ass who thought he was untouchable. Was he? No, he pled guilty, paid me $8,000, and got 6 months probation. Plus, his wife divorced him and took everything. His wife? He was married? Yup, married with a kid. He was lying to everyone. What about your ex? What happened to her? She got nothing in the divorce, lost her job, moved back in with her parents. Last I heard, she's working retail. Good, she deserved it. I think so too. 1 year after the divorce, Emily and I moved in together. She was everything Sarah wasn't. Honest, loyal, supportive, successful. I'm glad your ex cheated, Emily said one night. That's a weird thing to say. I know, but if she hadn't, you'd still be married to her and we wouldn't be together. That's true. I never thought of it that way. So, in a way, I should thank her and Kyle for being terrible people and freeing you up. I laughed. I don't think they'd appreciate that sentiment. Probably not, but it's true. 18 months after the divorce, I ran into Sarah at a coffee shop. She looked terrible. She'd gained weight, her hair was unkempt, she looked exhausted. Nathan, she said quietly. Sarah, how are you? I'm great. You? I'm managing. I heard you and Kyle broke up. Yeah, turns out he was just using me. He was married the whole time. Did you know that? I found out during the divorce. His wife called me. He lied to me about everything, just like I lied to you. I guess karma is real. I guess so. Nathan, I'm sorry for everything. I know it doesn't change anything, but I need you to know I regret it. All of it. The affair, the lies, everything. I threw away a good marriage for a guy who was using me. I know. Do you ever think about what might have been if I hadn't cheated? No, because I'm happier now than I ever was with you. That hurts. Good. You hurt me for 6 months. You and Kyle humiliated me. You deserve to hurt. I know. I wanted you to know I'm sorry. I don't care if you're sorry. Your apology doesn't change anything. Goodbye, Sarah. I walked away. 2 years after the divorce, Emily and I got engaged. I proposed on a beach in Hawaii with a ring I'd picked out myself. Yes, she said, laughing and crying. Yes, yes, yes.
We got married 6 months later. Small ceremony, close friends and family. No drama, no lies, just love. Judge Morrison sent a card. "Congratulations on your wedding. I'm glad you found happiness after everything you went through. Best wishes for a long and honest marriage." I smiled. Even the judge was rooting for me. 3 years after the divorce, Emily and I had our first child, a son. We named him after my father. I heard through the grapevine that Sarah was still single, still working retail, still living with her parents. Kyle had remarried. His new wife divorced him after 6 months when she found out he was cheating. Some people never learn. 4 years after the divorce, I got a message on LinkedIn from Kyle. "Hey man, I know it's been a while. I wanted to apologize for everything. I was young and stupid. I shouldn't have sent those photos. I shouldn't have gotten involved with Sarah. I'm sorry." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I deleted it without responding. 5 years after the divorce, I was sitting in my living room, holding my son, watching Emily make dinner. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. "How lucky I am. How grateful I am that Sarah cheated." That's a weird thing to be grateful for. I know, but if she hadn't, I'd still be married to her. I wouldn't have you. I wouldn't have our son. I wouldn't have this life. So her cheating was a good thing. In a way, yeah, it freed me. It showed me what I deserved, and it led me to you. I love you. I love you too. My wife's lover sent me photos captioned, "She screams louder with me." The judge wasn't amused. Neither was I. So I destroyed them both. I got him charged with revenge porn. I took everything from her in the divorce. I left them with nothing. And I built a better life from the ashes. That's not revenge. That's justice.